Hello, and welcome to this evening's version of the lounge. I am still working on this music here that's going on. I'm going to try to get Jacob and Mark to give me some, you know, give me some of that sassy stuff to open the show with. But for now, we have our usual acoustic cinematic. Welcome. It's 999, which is the portal of some amazing energy. And as most of you know, I like talking about the Mercury Retrograde, even though I am not an astrologer. But I believe that the Mercury Retrograde is for real. So basically, if those of you don't know it, you want to Google it. But basically, you don't want to do anything new during this point in time. You don't want to buy a new car, any electronics. You don't want to like get a new boyfriend or go on a date and be like, oh, he's the one, because it's going to turn out to be that he's kind of like a weirdo. So you don't want to do that. Usually it's dotting the T's. See, the Mercury retrograde is already coming up here. It's not dotting the T's because you can't dot T's. It's dotting the I's and crossing the T's. See, it's already starting. So mechanical things, your car, your bike, it's good that time to put a re in front of anything that you want to do, like redecorate, redo, replace, renovate, finishing old projects, tying up loose ends. But this is such a crazy energy that's been going on. And if you watched my monthly energy forecast for August 15th to September 15th, you will know that this month is a boring month, but it's the month to build your solid foundation and up leveling your life 2.0. It's our manifesting season. Yes, it's a Mercury retrograde, but I'm predicting that this retrograde is going to be a lot better than previous ones because we are in Rebuild Your Life 2.0. I talked about it. Now, next week is my next monthly energy forecast for September 15th to October 15th. So if you're not on my email list, you need to get on there. It goes right to your inbox. I go over every day of the month, tell you what to prepare for to make your key decisions in business, love, career, life. And sometimes I don't follow my own advice, but I find myself going back and being like, what did I say to myself? And now I must follow it. So make sure that you are on my email list. If you are not, if you're following on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you'll be notified every time we go live and you can interact with us and our guests. And make sure that you're on my email list. The link is in the description of these videos, and you will get next week's monthly energy forecast. It only goes out once a month. So if you're on the email list on the 16th, you're not going to get it in your inbox. So make sure that you get it. Second of all, okay, we've got a lot of exciting things coming up this month. Second of all, I have a new quiz. Are you guys excited about it? I know a lot of you have taken the quiz. A lot of you have not. If you're new here, hi, I'm intuitive medium Marisa Liza Pell. This is our spiritual talk lounge, started a couple of years ago. And for our Mercury retrograde fans, I'm going off on a tangent because that's what I do and I don't ever stay current here. I have a little Mercury retrograde moment for those of you who've been following the lounge for the past 2 years. I didn't even realize it's been 2 years until somebody just told me today, Marisa, you've been doing this since 2020. I'm like, really? Do you guys know how the lounge started? Do you want me to tell you how this show started? Was in the pandemic, I was at home alone and bored, and everybody else was out walking around or something. I don't know where they were, but I decided that I was going to put those lights behind me that are basically connected to that picture back there on my head and sat on the couch and I went on a rant on my couch into a monologue about people at Dunkin' Donuts and having hot wings in bars with men with flat brims. Do you guys remember that crazy comedic monologue? They're like, you're really funny. We had no idea that you could go on this monologue and talk about guys with flat brims. And that's how this show started. And then I started walking down the street talking to myself. And now here we are 2 years later, interviewing people, authors, celebrities come on, astrologers, people from Peru, the Amazon. I mean, it's like everybody's here. India, we've got everybody. And we have music. And it just became what it became. And I can't believe it started as putting those Christmas lights on my head and talking like a weirdo. Like that's so I think Kelly, who is backstage, she will say, yeah, that's how you found your genius, Marisa. That's what happened. You just started putting Christmas lights on your head. And here you are, right? So this is no joke, right? So I'm sitting here entertaining you guys, talking to myself, and you guys are like watching me doing these weird things. And here's where we are today. So I'm sure a lot of you that have been with us since the beginning remember those times. So back to the quiz before I introduce you to our lovely guest, and we have our musical fall activations for September. I can't wait till you guys hear the music. If you've heard Jacob and Mark before, you know that it raises the vibe, clears the energy, and will shift us into that fall because it's going to be a bumpy ride, right? It's already been turbulent in August. August was a crazy month. We need to smooth out the vibes. We need to get on the lazy river ride, go down the mountain coaster, smooth, not on the wooden roller coaster. That's what I know. We don't want to be whiplash. We want to go nice and smooth on the steel. Okay. So this is what the steel handpan it does. Jacob does this well. And Jacob is going to start with the handpan, and then Mark's going to come in with the smooth violin. And you guys are going to be feeling, oh my God, finally the energy's balanced, getting ready for fall, getting ready to move on up, right? Level it up 2.0. So if you didn't take my quiz, what's your intuitive superpower? If you don't know it, it's either one of four results. I want to find out what your intuitive superpower is. Make sure that if you take it during this broadcast, you put a link, you put a little comment in our little comment section and say, hey, I'm an intuitive empath. I'm a clairvoyant. I'm clairsentient. I'm clairaudient. I am a claircognizant. And if you don't know what those are, it's because you didn't take the quiz. And if you take the quiz, you'll be able to put yourself in an intuitive type, and then I will take you out from there. And since you are watching the lounge tonight, and since you are hanging out with me, of course, after you take the quiz, I have a special promo that's not available to the public for you if you want to get started on developing your intuitive abilities so that you can calibrate your compass, because sometimes when your intuitive compass is not calibrated, your picker's a little off. And when your picker's a little off, you pick the wrong careers, men, and homes. We don't want to do that. Okay. I've done it a long time ago, and I still was having a really good intuitive hits because this is what I do for a job. So make sure that you take the quiz. That's your first step in a new direction. Let me just say hi to some people real quick. Oh, my friend Brian is on. A set of nines can come handy in poker. Sure can. Maybe you'll give us some of that energy tonight. Hi, Eileen. Good to see you. Hi, B. Always good to see you. Mark, I owe you a call. Yes, we need to talk. Mark, I have to bring Mark on, okay? I can't even say enough about Mark. This guy is one of the most amazing artists I have ever seen. I mean, just sketches things from pencil that are just like so realistic. You can't tell that it's like I'm probably saying the wrong thing, Mark. And if I am, I'm sorry that you sketch with pencil or charcoal. I probably have the wrong like thing that I'm saying about it. And I'm sorry because I'm ignorant about what tools you're using to do your art. Is that what they say, to do your art? Probably not. See, I'm probably saying the wrong thing. But Mark, very talented artist. I'd love to have him on at some point to come and speak to us about his transformational journey. Known him from a long time ago. Paula, great to see you as well. So I want to talk about our lovely guest because it's so cool that she's coming on today, the 999 portal. I'm going to miss Queen Elizabeth. First, we lost Betty White. Now we lost Queen Elizabeth. Let me just say, I'm trying to keep it positive tonight. Okay, I'm trying to keep it positive. But with the loss of Queen Elizabeth, there's going to be a big energy change going on in our universe, in the world, and it may be a little bumpy for a while. So I definitely feel like there's a change in the energy. And for those of you that are the highly sensitive folks in this world, for those of you that help to raise consciousness, for those of you that help to transform other people's lives, you are being called to come into your center, come into what you're supposed to do in this world. And let me tell you, what you're supposed to do in this world is not to go and help people and be codependent and help people fix their problems. We can all do that, and that's all great, and service to others is great. But now's the time to release people to their path and have them hit those complications, have them hit those adversities so that they can grow on their own spiritual journey. Okay. So the people that are highly sensitive, especially you intuitive empaths, we have chosen careers in the past 15, 20 years where we wanted to fix others, help others, do what we need to do. But now there is something else inside of you that's birthing, waiting to come out. It's bubbling to the surface. It's like the geyser at Yellowstone. And sometimes because you've been so involved with fixing other people's problems and with people that don't want to fix them, you don't even know what that passion is. You don't even know what is supposed to be sprung forth, right? I'm really loud. I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about it. Okay. So Kelly is here. She is an author of P.S. You're a Genius. And I can't wait for her to talk about this topic because it's all about finding out what your gift is beyond just trying to help other people fix themselves who don't want to be fixed, which is what us intuitive people do. And there's more to our life than that, but we don't know ourselves. We can't be true to ourselves because everything else is like, you know, all the drama and chaos around us, right? So get on the lazy river ride, but it's not summer anymore, so we got to get on the mountain coaster. That's the motto for today. Let me talk about Kelly. So Kelly Track, she's a 4-time entrepreneur, business coach, and author of P.S. You're a Genius, an unconventional guide to finding your innate gifts, even when you feel like you have none. And you can find her at kellytrack.com, but we're going to put that up on the banners in a little bit. As a business coach, Kelly helps visionaries find their genius and monetize it so they can build digital businesses. But you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to own a digital business. Kelly helps you find your genius, and her book helps everybody find their genius, no matter what your walk of life. But let's say you decide, hey, I want to take what I love and make it into my business and earn a living doing that. Kelly can help you do that. She hosts the Kelly Track Show podcast, which has had more than 100K downloads, and is the creator of Your Conscious Empire, a course that teaches people how to build a business based on their genius. So if you hate your job, you hate your life, and you're taking care of everybody who doesn't want to help themselves, this is the way to go. So Kelly has a Bachelor of Commerce honors degree from the University of British Columbia, where she studied on scholarship, and she previously worked at Tesla. Interesting. Studied at Sciences Po in Paris, France, and was accepted in a pre-accelerator program taught by a billionaire venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. She's spoken at places like Uber and NASDAQ. And after her first 3 tech startups failed in San Francisco, so you can't say, "Oh, Kelly has it all made." Nope, she's hit the bottom and come to the top. Kelly built a 4th business centered around her genius, which enabled her to create success doing what came most naturally to her. Now she teaches others how to do the same. So we are going to speak to Kelly very soon. But before that, we are going to bring on our music because that's what's going to set the energy. That's what's going to set the tone for Kelly to come and pull your genius out of you and spread the geyser forth. And I know I'm being dramatic, but I believe you can achieve what Kelly has set you out to do. And she is intuitive. I know it. I haven't told her this before, but we had a little call a few weeks ago. And I was like, hey, you got something's going on, but I think she knows it. But we haven't gotten to talk about that because we were talking about me. And so we'll talk about her soon. I found out she's a Leo. Leos like to talk about themselves. So we're going to make it about Kelly very, very soon. But before that, we're going to bring on our returning musical guests, Jacob Cole and Mark Woodyatt, who I have stalked all summer and found them at certain, festivals. I'm like, hey, it's Marisa. How are you? Here I am. And then I'm eating out the other night and Mark walks in. I'm like, hey, you getting a meatball hoagie? And, we talked and I shared my funnel cake with him. And we talked about all the drama going on, in all of our lives everywhere and in the spirit world. And Jacob and Mark also have abilities too. So everybody that comes on this show usually has some sort of ability. So just a little bit about Jacob and Mark, because, I have to talk about them. But you guys who've all been here, if you haven't been here, you're in for a treat. Mark Woodyatt, he actually performed at my mother's 70th surprise birthday party like 10 years before I met him. But I met him there. I just didn't realize. Is an internationally recognized jazz violinist, as well as an avid multi-instrumentalist and medium, I would add, composer and producer. Classically trained on violin and keyboards, Mark has been expanding upon his musical passions for 32 years. Jacob Cole, one of my favorite people in the world, is, Mark, you are too, I'm just saying, I love you both, is a world percussionist, instructor, composer, and jazz fusion drummer. Now, he's a little under the surface. I haven't gotten to know him as well as I've talked to Mark yet, but As a graduate of Berklee College of Music, he has studied with many of the world's percussive masters. So you're in for a treat. So we're gonna welcome to the stage Jacob Cole and Mark Woodyatt. Hi guys.
Hello. Can
Hey.
you hear us?
Yeah.
I can.
Awesome.
Excellent. Excellent.
So are
Thanks
you
for having
feeling this like crazy fall energy and the turbulence? Like let's like smooth it out tonight. Let's like bring in some tunes.
Yeah, it seemed like as soon as the went dark, I started getting crazy energy going on.
Yeah.
There's a full moon I noticed on my way here, so it looks like a full moon.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
tomorrow, right?
I don't know. Got to check
Well,
that calendar.
The harvest moon, I think.
We might have to kick the energy up first before it, you know. It's kind of like when I'm playing at like a funeral. I usually play something real sad and then something happy, and
Yeah.
or vice versa. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, hello. So
you never
what?
know.
So
Just whatever you're thinking, Jake.
Yeah,
all right.
this piece is kind of a dark piece, actually, called "Something Wicked This Way Comes." So it's a new piece.
Oh, we're starting strong. So, all right. Well, everybody's here. We're all listening. I will mute myself. And what's this song called again?
Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Something wicked this way comes. All right. I will put you guys up in the spotlight, not myself, and mute myself. And
I'm gonna hang on for the ride myself. So.
We good to go?
you're good to go.
All right.
Yay! Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was so dark and
Yeah, it was pretty
so
dark.
yeah, and so representative of last month's energy and moving that through our bodies and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt
so
that I needed to open with that one. That's still a work in progress, and Mark's only even heard it a couple times, so that was, I liked what you did on that one. That was nice.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks guys. That was great. Well, we everybody on here is, a lot of us regulars, so we're used to the few that you usually do. So this was definitely a new change of pace. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll give you guys a break and bring Kelly on, and then we'll bring you guys. You're probably going to do one of the ones you always do, which everybody loves. I forget which one it was. Probably the first one you always do, but I don't even know which song that is.
I don't even know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm excited. Awesome.
We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
Anything.
All right. Thanks, guys, for being here and listening to Mark and Jacob. And if you want to check out their album, you go to jacobcolepercussion.com. Albums Hope and Destiny. And I love having them on the show because they really kind of vibe with what we're doing and help everybody kind of clear energy, which is very important. So without further ado, I've already introduced her, already gave her raving reviews, and already kind of alluded to the fact that I stalked her in my mind about all these things I'm thinking she didn't know. So welcome to the stage, Kelly Track. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Marissa. Thank you so much for having me here. I so appreciate it. I'm so stoked. This has been the thing in the calendar I've looked forward to all week. So it's such a pleasure and an honor to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. I know I've Kelly, I don't know how I found her, right? But I'm looking at business. I always look at business stuff, and all of a sudden, I'm one of those people that have 400 tabs open everywhere, especially on my phone. If you go into my Chrome, and there's 400 tabs, and for some reason, every time I would click open a new tab, Kelly's tab that was 200 tabs back would always keep opening in my phone. I'm is she doing something with digital marketing that makes her appear on your tabs? I don't know. Is that some sort of secret you're doing? Because it's good if that's the truth.
I wish.
Yeah. So, Kelly, you are amazing, first of all.
Thank you.
And you've actually, because we had a little talk before, and you actually weren't sure what your genius was, and you're trying to find yourself. And I remember just going through the first intro in your book and being yes, you were at some sort of seminar and everyone had these interesting answers, well, what's your passion? And everybody had these amazing answers, and you're I like mustard. That's all I know about myself at this point in time. So I was laughing at that. And you're hitting your Saturn returns. You're a young one, you're a young buck out in the market here, and you're a published author at under 30. Amazing for a lot of people who want to do that and get their book out. So tell us just a little bit maybe about you that we don't know, and kind of maybe what life was like, what happened, and what it's like now.
Oh, yeah, such a great question. So I always like to begin my story kind of just going back to high school because it paints a glimpse into who I was as a person. But I was your classic overachiever, got straight A's, did all the extracurriculars. I'm from Canada, so I wanted to go to school at the University of British Columbia. I got in on scholarship. I, did the same thing. I worked my butt off, had an internship every summer, got to do case competitions and go compete on behalf of my school abroad. Got straight A's by the time I was done. And I really thought I was a really star business school student, except I just could not get any cool jobs that I wanted out of business school. There's a lot of cool hip companies based out of Vancouver, Canada, like Lululemon Athletica and Vega, which is the vegan protein powder, which has now been acquired, or Arc'teryx. Lots of great brands that have come from Vancouver. And I just couldn't get a job doing marketing at one of these companies. And I had tried some next level things to get noticed, especially by Lululemon. I tried to build them a website one year instead of sending them a resume.
My God.
When I was doing my exchange in France, I had things. I had sent baguettes and jam to the recruiters saying bonjour, it's Kelly, I want to be intern. I just couldn't get hired. So I had these two offers. One was to work at a telecom company selling. I was going to be placed on the home phone team, selling home phone and landlines And I was like, we're like way into the digital world.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I also got an offer doing tech sales, and I wasn't stoked about either. And I was really let down. I was like, okay, I'll sign the contract. I'll stay in Vancouver to do the telecom company. But I had 8 months of spare time. So I was like, well, I've always had an inkling for entrepreneurship, and I wanted to start my own tech startup. So I started working on Tech Startup One, and I had a lot of fun. And one of my good friends was like, hey, I'm moving to Silicon Valley for the summer. Do you want to come? And we were sitting in this rainy cafe, and I was just like, intuitively, I was like, yeah. So I decided to email the company. And I was like, sorry, I can't come show up at my full-time role. I'm going to go to San Francisco, and I'm going to start working on my startup. And I got into this very prestigious pre-accelerator program taught by a billionaire VC who takes on sort of young minds under 25 to help you build out a business. Yeah, and that was really cool. But
Wait, can I just jump in 1 second here? How did you like find this person, and how did they let you in through the gates? Like what'd you do to get through?
So I heard somebody give a talk at my business school. I went to this. There was an entrepreneurship at UBC club, and I went to a talk, and this one person was like, hey, I had a startup, and I went to this accelerator program, and I looked, and something I think I got clear cognizance because I just like know things. I was like, oh, apply for this. You could 100% get it. So I applied, and I sent in my pitch, and they liked it, and they took me. So I was in that.
Wow.
Yeah, but Startup One didn't work. So I tried pivoting and tried doing Startup Two. Startup Two also didn't work. And then I tried again with the third startup, and Startup Three didn't work. And I was getting frustrated because my whole life I was so good at hustling and grinding, getting things done, working harder. And I wasn't getting the payoff I wanted. And I was like, why is this not holding up when I need it most? Like none of these things are working out. And I had a week off, and I flew home from San Francisco back to Canada. And at that point, it was my long-term boyfriend. We were at his family's cabin, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And I sat down one morning, and I was like, I'm going to figure out my life and what I'm supposed to do. And I have this week off. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. And I sat down in this like red lazy boy reclining chair, and I made myself some coffee in the morning. And I heard this voice from my intuition. And it just said, Kelly, what if you just did what you were good at? And that was such a life-changing question for me because I never just did what I was good at. I was always chasing the biggest, hardest goals and achievements and accomplishments and trying to improve my weaknesses. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of like wave my white flag and surrender. Like, it's not working. I'm trying hard at these things. So let's lean into the opposite. Let's try doing what comes naturally to me, which begged the question, well, what am I actually good at? I don't even know. And the only thing at that time was I had celiac disease and IBS and my autoimmune condition. And I was like, well, I'm going to start a little health blog talking about that and talking about mindset, which my kind of approach to healing had a little big emphasis on mindset. So I had made a website, and I had made my first online course about mindset, and I started my podcast. And then I started getting people asking me, hey, Kelly, can you help me start a business? Like, you have this stuff online. And I was like, no. Like, did you not see the 3 failed tech startups? Like, no. But somebody was really persistent, and I ended up coaching them, and she ended up taking her business full time. And through the laws of the universe and the magic of the universe, I have been working as a business coach for the last several years, helping people what I would call find your genius and monetize it. So through working with a lot of clients, people would come to me because they'd be like, I have this idea, but like, I don't know how to turn it into a business. And I was really good at asking the right questions, these sort of little unconventional questions to pull out their gifts and their genius, which I'll define in a second, and turn it into something to sell. So I made a little framework with clients and then mastered it and then taught it in my signature online course, or Conscious Empire. And then when I started getting feedback that was consistent, like, hey, I was able to out earn my corporate salary by the end of my first year in business, or I was able to like literally hand in my resignation letter to my 9-to-5 within 6 weeks of launching because I found my genius, or I booked my first paid client at my full rates within 48 hours of launching. And one of my students booked literally a workshop at Google within 1 month of opening up shop. And they were all like, this find your genius stuff works. So I was like, okay, I'm like onto something here, and I didn't really know. I feel like so much of my career and life has just been bumping into stuff, you know, and the same of what you had said, Marissa, like, you're like, one night I just like put these lights on my head and started talking. Your genius, you kind of bump into it over time. And I never thought I'd ever end up here. But I was like, I have this concept to find your genius. I pitched for a TED Talk, didn't get it. But I was like, I had this intuitive inkling to pitch it for a book. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try pitching for a book. And I pitched for a book deal in 2020, and I got one. But I will say,
that's so crazy. I can't even, but you said like you actually pitched over 200 agents.
I did pitch over 200 agents. Yeah.
I mean, after you keep getting rejections, a lot of people give up just because it's like, oh, like after 20, people just don't go after 200. So your persistence like actually paid off.
Yeah, in a big way. It's one of the things in life I think I'm most proud of is my getting that book out there, because it just felt like such a soul thing. You don't really get rich by any means off a book. Like a book is not a get rich quick project. It was just like, this is something I've always wanted to do, and I felt like this was such an important message. I would define your genius as it's the work that only you can do in the world, and you find your genius when you find your top 3 to 5 most innate gifts and perform a task that involves all of those at once. And I separate gifts from strengths because I believe there's many things we're good at, but we kind of have to like sift the cream from everything else. So I'd say your gifts, it's the strengths that are like top tier, and it's what you are truly innately gifted at. It's stuff that you can do automatically with no thought or preparation. You're already innately talented at that, right? And that's where we want to focus, is those true innate gifts where you can just show up and like wing it, and you're still head and shoulders above everybody else. And when you find those top 3 to 5 gifts through my sort of series of unconventional, quirky questions that we can talk about today, but I also teach in PS You're a Genius.
PS You're a Genius.
Yeah. And then you find your top 3 to 5 gifts, you put them together, and then boom, you have your genius. And then you funnel it into ways where your genius can come alive. So my best top gifts are speaking, teaching, creating, and connecting. And I feel like I'm most in my genius when I'm doing things like doing a podcast interview, or I'm hosting a webinar, or I'm making an online course, or I'm coaching a client, because I'm using all my gifts at once. And I just feel like, I'm in the flow, I'm getting results, things are bumping and jiving, and I feel that passing of time. And those are sort of hallmarks that you're in your genius. You're in the flow, you're getting results. It's really like that feeling of being on the right path. So yeah, that's the framework of finding your genius.
And when I tell my students, the ones that kind of work with me on a more advanced level than just people saying, okay, I want to learn how to read, or I want to learn how to like my intuition. And we do start there. But what I find when the real transformation takes place is I'm like, look, like all the careers you sought out in your life, like, yes, those were gifts of healing and helping and other people and using your intuition. But that's not actually that creative part of you. Like that's what you are giving out of your energy to heal, but there's something inside of you that's looking to heal you. And so that's where that geyser is coming out. And I always tell like all my intuitive people that do this for a living, healing work for a living, wellness work, people that are just taking care of others. It's like, that's not what you came here to do. There's other things that will light you up and make you excited to like, it'll give you back energy. It's not just about giving out your energy. And so like, for people that are highly sensitive individuals, for people that are intuitive individuals, sometimes we're drawn to the helping field. Yeah. And that will only yes, we're doing a service, but that's only, you have to do stuff that lights you up. And for me, like, I've been doing this 25 years, right? Believe it or not, full time. And for me to do this, it's like, is this something I was charging people for? No. Is this something like, this is something I did walking down the street? And it's like, I light up talking to people, interviewing people like you, Kelly. It's something I love. And people love to watch and listen, and people get happy. And that's like what I care about. You know what I mean? So if you're in the audience tonight and you're sitting there thinking, I want to ask Kelly, like, are these my gifts, or are these, is this, wait, you said gift, and what was the other thing?
Strengths, because there's a lot of talk usually in this space about like my strengths. What are your strengths? But I like to sift gifts, like innate gifts versus strengths. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're curious, Kelly could put a little package together to say that's a strength, that's a gift. Or if you have a question for Kelly and saying like, tell us what you want to do, or tell us what your confusion is along your pathway to your purpose right now, take the opportunity. The first step is taking action. You can all sit there and be like, okay, I'm wondering like don't be shy. Don't be shy. If you don't want to be put on, we won't put you on. Don't be shy. And just take this as like the universe is presenting me an opportunity. Because Kelly, like, you might not be able to get Kelly to coach you privately, but she's here today. So you're going to get some genius coming from the genius of the strengths of genius, and take the opportunity and consider that stepping out of your comfort zone and breaking through. Just that little action of putting a question and getting some alignment with what your dream is or your goal is moving you toward that goal. It's not about getting to the end, because like Kelly's telling you what I'm telling you, we both had visions of doing completely different things than where we're both at today. You know what I mean? I have a master's degree in television production. I was on my way to produce a show for HGTV at 21. And here I am. Yes. So, which didn't work out. So, yeah. So, yeah, some of you don't know that about me, but yes, that was my dream back then. And I'm still producing, just different stuff.
Totally.
So, feel free. We're going to take a little music break, give Kelly a little talk break. We're going to go back to Jacob and Mark. I want you guys to think about it, because you're here because you want to transform. Some of you are students in my courses. And I talked about in the live call for Intuitive Development 101 people, I talked about it, taking the action the other night, taking the action. And so it's important for you to put yourself out there tonight and take a little step in the direction of your dreams. Think about what you want to ask Kelly. I can add my intuitive spin on to it. You can take advantage of both of us right now, and in a good way. You know, you could say, hey, we're putting ourselves out there. You know, we could kind of go off each other, and Kelly could say something, and I could say, yeah, my intuition feels this too. So feel free. But we're going to go to Jacob and Mark for a little music break. And Kelly, I'm going to give you a break. And when we come back, you can post your comments even while Jacob and Mark are playing, and we'll get back to you. All right. Thanks, Kelly. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
We're good. We got some coffee in us and a little bit of sweets, and we're feeling a little more awake now.
That's great. You know, I wanted to let people know, first of all, how to get your album, because I have your album, and I
have a couple left, because there's only like 10 physical copies left. It's 2 hours worth of handpan music. Mark's on 16 out of 24 tracks.
Yes, and it's great.
JacobColePercussion.com.
Yeah, she has it up there.
Oh yeah, you got it. Nice.
I have it, and it's also in the bio. It's in the bio. It's in the description.
It's also streaming on Spotify, and it's available for digital download on iTunes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you know what?
We just get we get 3 cents every time 30,000 people.
Yeah, Spotify's not really worth it, but
yeah. So if you want to support like Jacob and Mark and have a CD, like still have a CD with awesome artwork on it, please. You're going to be holding on to an antique. You got to get it. They only have 10 left. I have one. You guys should get it. So also, Jacob, I know I've been asking you about the handpan for a really long time. And if I didn't have something else going on, I would be at that retreat that you're holding, because I'm interested. You're having a handpan retreat next week.
Next
weekend, I wanted to talk about that. Let me bring up the banner so people can see this. If you want to learn how to like actually heal yourself with sound, and he said that this is like one of the easiest instruments to learn. The Handpan Retreat is the 16th through 18th. Go to handpanretreat.com. Can you tell us a little bit about this journey if people want to come and have a good time?
It's in Northeast PA at Camp Zeke in Lakewood, PA. And so it's only an hour northeast of Scranton. And we're going to have, you don't even have to own a handpan. We're going to have a guy from New York City bringing up a bunch of handpans that are all in D minor, actually. So they're all going to work with each other, and you'll be able to use those for the weekend. And we're going to have teachers doing workshops and performances, and me and Mark are going to perform on Friday night, and some world-renowned handpan players and teachers are going to be coming. And yeah, it's our first attempt at it, so we're trying to push the tickets to get enough, bodies there to make it work. But we're trying hard, and hopefully it can go off.
Yeah. So one question I have for you, because I did look at your page and everything, because I was actually considering coming. Could people kind of go up and not stay over and register for the retreat, or do they have to stay overnight?
That's a good question. If my wife is in the chat, maybe she can answer in the chat. She's kind of been planning it really behind the scenes. But I know the price is the meals are included, and then the price depends on if you're going to be camping or staying in one of the nice rooms, bunks that they have. So I would assume it would be possible to not stay over for a discounted price for like a day ticket. I'm sure we could figure that out. I don't see why not. You know.
Yeah, because like I'm sure local people that are watching might not need to stay over, like want
Yeah,
to.
it's like northeast, up towards kind of the New York border, Honesdale area, an hour northeast, Lakewood, PA. So it's not far from Scranton.
Yeah, like I'm definitely interested in some of that information if she could post that in the chat, so people that might not be able to go 2 days or want to go one day or whatever, if they have that opportunity, it might get some more people up.
Yeah, just if she's not on right now and doesn't hear this, just send me a message at jacobcolepercussion.com, and you can find my email from there. It's jacobcolepercussion@gmail. So just send us any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Awesome. Well, great. I hope you guys get some more signups. I know that if it was a good time for me, I would be up. I hope you do it again because
Yeah, well, we
I'll
only
be
had
there.
a month to plan and promote it, so it was kind of like a last minute decision. So we really just kind of went for it, and we're really trying to push these last couple days here to really decide if we're gonna go full on with it or not. We gotta see. So if you're thinking about it, definitely hit me up, and we can answer any questions, and hopefully we can go through with the retreat next weekend.
Awesome. Great. So what are you guys playing now?
Well, we were wanted to pick it up a little bit and do a tune that is off the album Hope here.
Yay.
And this is the second song off the Solar disc, which is kind of the more daytime disc with the sun on it, if you know that disc.
Yes.
And
yes.
This is called Chill Song, which we've done, and on the album I play this handpan. This is a local handpan from New Jersey, actually. This is an Aura handpan. And if you are thinking about handpans, this guy has a beginner series that's like $850, which is pretty cheap for a handpan. It's Aura, like your Aura, aurahandpan.com. And so it's a pretty good maker. He's like a young kid that taught himself how to do it off a pizza tin. He started hammering in his garage.
Whoa.
And now he's making handpans and making a lot of money. He has a workshop now. So
I bet Kelly's behind that. I bet you she did it. She sent him in that direction.
You never know. So
Yeah.
So we're gonna do Chill Song, and on the album version, I'm also playing tabla, which are those Indian kind of bongo-looking drums there. So the album version has an extra little flair to it, but this is the duo version tonight.
All right. Great. Well, I will put you in the spotlight. And I'm going to mute myself right now so you guys could go ahead.
All right, this is Chill Song. Thanks.
One of my favorites. Love that. Love that. Love it. It's like I go into a different place when I hear that song. It's like it just calms me.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
It's kind of our weather channel-y one, but I like it. It's a nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't ever get old. I just love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I feel like it's like part of the lounge now. That song, I don't know why. It just like
Awesome.
feels like it's like kind of what we do here. And
Very
then-
cool. I'm glad
yeah.
we did it.
It's an appropriate song for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chill song.
Yeah.
it looks like it chilled you guys out a little bit.
Yeah, I said, let's do the lazy river.
He did. He
version.
said, "Let's do the lazy river version of chill songs." So that was that.
opposed to like the faster tempos or like the ice like
That was a chill song.
Antarctic chill. That wasn't that chill.
It could have
Okay.
been chiller, but it's pretty
There's
chill.
different levels of chill. I'm
There's
gathering.
different levels of
Yeah,
chill.
I guess you could say like I'm making an analogy in my creative inspiration of notes to play based on like the temperature of water. You know, like a lazy river I associate with like a, something that you'd cool off in the summer. You'd be like on this, like the gravity railroad type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you just go down the river, not like rapids, but you're gonna have little.
It wasn't the
rapids.
log flume.
It wasn't the log.
Exactly, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're like going along and it's like, ah, no.
Yeah,
no.
right. It was the lazy river.
And then
Lazy
you're
river.
totally soaked.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. I'm gonna let you go and sit
Thank
in
you.
the lazy river in the inner tube. We're gonna talk to Kelly. We have a lot of questions in the chat, and then you guys are gonna come out and close the show with the something that's just like sparkly.
All right,
Sparkly.
We'll do some brainstorming. See you in a bit.
All right, see you soon. Kelly,
Hello.
people are really commenting tonight. We have a lot of people, and let me tell you guys, I want to applaud. So I'm gonna give you a little clap. Yay! You guys, that's so much courage to take the time to write a question. I am so proud of you. You are starting your journey by putting it out there, because we're gonna try to get to everybody's. We'll keep it brief. And then if you want more, there's always Kelly. You can go get her book, which we would hope you would support and buy a copy of. And she has courses, private coaching, all the kind of stuff. And with me, I do all my courses, my intuitive development courses for highly sensitive, high achievers who want to help balance their nervous systems as well and activate their intuition. Because guess what? If you're disconnected and scattered the way it is, which most of people who have intuition are, like, you already know you're gifted, you already know you have abilities. Like, if you don't ground and balance yourself, like, you're just going to go way out there. Like, those symptoms are going to get worse and you're not going to feel centered and home and at peace. So like, if we put those together, you can come from a place of your center, and like, you don't have to ask anybody like what you should do anymore. Like, you'll know, and you'll finally feel. A lot of people don't know that what they truly want in life is not so much like, they just want to feel okay. They want to feel connected to something. They want to feel excited about life. So if you're not feeling excited about what you're doing, if you're not waking up jazzed up about what you want to do, you're scattered, you're all over the place, your life is chaotic, like, people think that that's just how they are, or it's just a function. And it's really like the combination of heightening your abilities while balancing the nervous system that brings you home to calibrate your compass and know where you're going. Because when you're on the yellow brick road, you have two roads. Which one do you choose? You need your compass calibrated. So that's what we do here. And Kelly's she's gonna be like at that crossroad. She's be like, here, little basket, and be like, all right, this is where we're gonna go. And I'm gonna tell you how to get there. So let's start with Brenda. Brenda, I've stepped out of my comfort zone and it was a good route. So we'll try to keep these like short so we can get to everybody. Our just because I know Kelly and I will go off. We like to talk, but like, we're already at an hour, so we'll try to give you as best as we can pretty quickly. I feel I am falling back and again being enabling. So what would you say to this, Kelly?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the intuitive answer that I got, one of the mantras that I've been practicing lately when I've slipped into bad habits or something's just not in alignment with like what I want, or I'm not on track for a goal, my new phrase is, and that's okay. And that's okay. I had a night when I just couldn't sleep. And then I was just like, And that's okay. And that's okay. Instead of laying there being like, oh, I'm not asleep and it's 2 a.m., I was like, that's okay. So I think my advice to you, Brenda, is, you stepped out of your comfort zone. That's amazing. And it was a good route. And, it's natural in terms of growth. Growth is not like that hockey stick curve growth of like, up and to the right all the time. Sometimes it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it's okay if it's not always positive, positive, positive. That's such a natural part of growth, is for there to be times when you shift back. And I think to that, it's just having that mantra of that's okay, and that's okay, and being gentle on yourself and meeting yourself with that loving kindness, because you did step out of your comfort zone. And I think we should lean into that and like focus on that versus being like, oh no, I'm falling behind. But you made the progress, right? So like it's like honoring that piece. I would reflect back to you, Brenda.
Yeah, great, Kelly. I totally agree, Brenda, that like on our path to healing and transformation, there are big steps back that because it's like you're a rubber band and you're trying to like expand. And in the beginning, you're like here. And when you expand your experience in your nervous system, it does come back. But the next time you expand more. And there's sometimes we experience a lot of that inner shame. And I hate to talk about shame because people don't even like to admit they feel it, but I feel it all the time.
I feel it too.
You know? So it's like we don't want to say the word shame because it's shameful to say shame. But like it's really at the core of like, oh no, like I'm messed up. Like I feel ashamed. And it's like, it's okay. Like we need to treat ourselves with kindness and more compassion. And I think our biggest, like, we beat ourselves up like the biggest in our minds, like as critics, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you want life to stop beating you up, stop beating yourself up, and give yourself a little slack. And, instead of being like, bad, you did it bad, you fell back again, what are people going to think? It's more like, it's okay. Like, what would you do for a child? You would say, they're trying to walk, they're trying to do a new skill and they fall. You're going to be like, yeah, you're bad. Like, no, you're going to say, come on, let's try again. And believe it or not, if you look back on your life as an adult, you probably weren't that compassionate toward yourself. So Brenda, if you're asking this question, people who are like actually not doing the deal aren't asking this question. So you're probably doing amazing.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of yourself. And I feel intuitively that you're doing better than you think. That's just my feeling. So, and I hear the word Ted or Theodore, which is kind of weird. So I don't know if I'm feeling that for you, Kelly, to go back and try for that TED Talk, or maybe for Brenda. So that's coming in. So thanks, Brenda, for asking the question. Let me see if Brenda wrote anything. Okay, no. All right, so where are we? Gina. Okay, once upon a time, Marisa said, Kami, this is good. I don't ever remember what I say to people. I have a star over your head like a superstar, almost 50, work with people in many fields. You want to act. Awesome. You have an interest, but not a great memory for lines. Keep it in the wish pile or go for it. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Now, my idea, like what came to me intuitively when I read this, Gina, was improv, because you don't need scripts, and improv, comedy, improv, anything improv, like getting up and talking to people, improv, like that's what came to mind. But that's just an intuitive thing. So I'll put it over to Kelly.
Yeah, I always feel like if you feel that intuitive nudge, follow it. It's one of those things where it's like through following the breadcrumbs, you end up figuring out where you need to go, in life's journey and all that thing. So it's like if you feel that nudge, and it's sort of if it's that dream you can't shake, there's usually something wrapped up for you there, like in terms of your destiny or something to learn or a person to meet or a thing to do. I find that following those intuitive nudges, and that helps you end up in the right direction. So I would say go for it, Gina.
Yeah, I feel like it too. But I feel like, Gina, it's going to be a lot easier than you think, which is kind of interesting. I feel like you're one of those people that manifests so easily that if you just put a little bit of effort, you could have somebody that tried doing acting or improv for like 50 years and like couldn't get one audition. And I feel like it's going to be like easy for you. Like it's weird. Like I keep feeling Philadelphia. I don't know why, but there could be like a casting in Philadelphia maybe, or in the Philadelphia region where you might get something. I'm not saying that you're like going to Hollywood right away, but I'm feeling like if you wanted to start auditioning and like get some stuff, I feel like it's definitely definitely there, but you got to put some energy into it. So go for it.
Yeah. One more thing I'll add, Gina, is a thought that came to me was, I know you're like, I want to act, but not a great memory for lines, like being open to what else presents yourself. So for example, I had thought of like voice acting because I was thinking about myself reading my audiobook, and I was like, oh, this is what the actors do. They come to the same studio and they just, they read and the script's there. So it's like a way for you to act, but like you wouldn't have to memorize. So I feel like that keeping the realm of possibilities open could totally find an opportunity that is in line with what you want.
And you know what, Gina? I feel like you have a good imagination and you can write if you wanted to and tell stories. Do you know how many theaters are open for rent and you could put on a little black box? Like I have a theater degree, so that's coming out here. You could rent a little black box theater for like $35 an hour, like honestly, and write your own script and put on your own show. Like you don't need somebody to do it for you and sell your tickets and invite people and tour with it. Like seriously, everything I've done like that. And up to like a few years ago, I'm performing, in big theaters, like with hundreds of people. It all started like that for me. And it doesn't mean you have to do like traditional acting. There's different things that you can do where you're in front of people. So I don't know if any of those intuitive feelings I had are Kelly's insights. I feel like Kelly's doing intuitive readings too, and she doesn't know it, but that's what's going on. I hope that helped, Gina. Brian, I've known Brian a really long time. So I can't take this question. But B, it seems like you're saying you want to be a medium. Is that what's going on? I guess. But I'll let you take this question because I know Brian too well.
Okay, I'm going to read it out loud. Kelly, I'm no stranger to failure, and I would like to create the spirits in my dreams and try to connect with everyday passing spirits to pass love and care to the living. How? Well, I would look at this as I was going to say a business problem to solve if you want to turn this into a business. But first and foremost, spending time honing those intuitive gifts, working with like Marisa and getting into a course, or if you already are established in using those gifts, I would look at it the next thing of how can we build an offer around this? Even if you're doing this for free, but like what would the vehicle be to deliver this to somebody? Is it a 60-minute reading? Are you going to focus on a certain, topic? So for example, talking to families who've had members that have passed. If you did want to charge for this, what number would feel good for you to charge? I always think about when it comes to pricing, what number would you feel good saying out loud if a friend asks you, hey, how much is this for a reading at a coffee shop, to their face? Like what number would you feel really good at? Not like you're giving it away for free, but also not too high and you feel awkward about it. But I would just bare bones look at it like that. Like, do I need more coaching around my gifts, and do I need to take a class to hone these skill sets? Or if you're good and you feel confident, how could we start packaging this up into something to either sell or give to people, but in a package that's got like time, duration, price? Are you doing it on Zoom? Is it in person? That kind of thing. That's how I would answer this question, Brian.
Yeah, and Brian, like having a school to do this for like 15 years of teaching people in person, online, I always tell people to practice first. Practice on people that you don't really know that well, for free. You know what I mean? Like just sit down with someone, create the space to do it, and give yourself. And I would start with like very small amounts of time because it's hard to hold that energy for large amounts of time. And sit down with somebody for 10 minutes, give a message, see how it impacts them, see what their feedback is, and do that. And then if you're good, people are going to start sending people to you. And that's when you're like, okay, my energy needs energy back in the form of something, of an energy exchange. But if you want to test it out, do a little test drive. I have a lot of people that need readings that are coming, there'd be, if you want to do a little test, we have people to send. So I hope that helps. Carol, hi, Marissa and Kelly. I'm really trying to reach my lifelong desire, but there is too much negativity around me. I asked her a clarification question, like, is it her negativity or is it people around her? She says people around her. So I'll give that to you, Kelly.
Yeah, usually how I would direct this question is sort of like, if you have a dream, but you kind of feel like there's like folks around you that are, kind of like naysayers or dream stealers, aka people who are like, oh, don't do that, or no, it's too hard, or it's not a good market, or most restaurants fail. I think it's about having, if that is the case, it's about kind of having some of those energetic boundaries about what you choose to share, and thinking about where are maybe safe places for you to share about your dream or share about your lifelong desires. Maybe that's in Marissa's programs, or finding a small community, or even just talking to one friend that gets it. I always say it's sort of like when you're talking about your dreams, you want to make sure you're speaking into ears that can hear you. So it's like a bunny and a duck can't communicate, but two bunnies can communicate and two ducks could communicate. So find the people that can understand you, whether that's a coach, a mentor, joining a program, joining a mastermind, joining a group, finding one friend that's like-hearted, and sharing your dreams with them and getting support from them, and spending less time talking about it with folks that don't get it. So like getting the bunnies to talk to other bunnies versus bunnies talking to the ducks.
There you go. You have a big zoo around you soon, Carol.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling boundaries are sometimes our responsibility, and sometimes we're like, oh man, all these people around me are draining me. Well, like, when am I taking the space? I feel like everything's kind of around you to where like you don't have any space for yourself. And so I always tell people, start with a physical space if you can't start with boundaries, because sometimes boundaries are tough if you're not used to having them. Energetic boundaries is what I'm talking about. Start with just creating a space in your home or your office where nobody comes in, and that's a good physical boundary to start with.
Yeah.
Courtney, I've been on a specific path for 10 years. I have an MS in forensics and a deep desire to pursue it, even though it hasn't worked out yet. I'm afraid and unsure if this is where my gifts lie. I know I asked you some follow-up questions. Courtney, let me see where my follow-up question was. I asked her like how far she's gotten. Oh, I said, does it light you up? How far have you gotten with this? And she said, yes, opportunities are few, and I moved away for a job only to have to move back. Staying close to family has held me back. Afraid I'm running out of chances, or maybe this is not my purpose. That's so Kelly. This is so you.
Yeah. Courtney, this is like an intuitive decision that you're going to have to make. I think my question that came to me is, do you have any role models who are doing what you want to do? Like, do you have any examples of people who have gone on to do what you want to do in this forensic space? Like, or are you kind of building up this roadmap yourself? I would say, can you kind of find people that are, I don't know, where you want to be in a year or 5 years, and sort of just get expanded by that, and kind of like show your subconscious mind that this is possible for you to have this kind of career or do this kind of work, or learn from them, or like ask to pick their brain and go for coffee with them, or chat with them on a phone call for 20 minutes. But finding examples of folks who've gone on to maybe do the work that you want to do, and seeing that in your own subconscious mind as like proof that maybe you could do it too. Does that resonate at all for you, Courtney? Or is there anybody that you can think of that is in that bucket of folks who've been successful in this field doing what you want to do? Let me maybe know in the chat.
All right. Yeah, we'll wait to hear back from Courtney. And I know Angela asked about regulating the nervous system, and you're already in level 1, Angela. You're already a student in level 1. And we're opening levels 2 and 3 next week. And we're doing the whole nervous regulation, heightening your intuition part of the program, which is essential to what you're actually looking for. But I'm not the only one that can help you. So there's a lot, but it is, Angela, it's a process, and it's something that I feel like we shouldn't do on our own. I personally, just from going through it all myself, I needed some sort of mentor, because this was a road that I didn't know how to navigate like my whole life. Like, I was successful in every other area, but that area, and it is not like a one answer fits all sort of, one tip. Like, it's regulating your nervous system. If you come from an environment that caused you to like have a dysregulated nervous system where you're, not centered all the time for survival purposes, and usually that comes from trauma in the past or addictions, whatever it may be. There's a path to healing ahead, but it's something I feel like we need somebody to walk us through those woods, because it's somewhere where I wouldn't want to go by myself. You know what I mean? So I don't have to be the person to take you there, but there's a lot of, trauma coaches. There's a lot of people who do nervous system regulation. I happen to work with people who have very strong intuitive gifts, because their nervous system is a little bit different than just, regular nervous system regulation. So I work with them kind of specifically. But there's a lot you could find on Instagram and on YouTube, like just exercises you could do for free. Lori, I love Lori's question. And then we're going to get to Jacob and Mark and see how they're doing. And because I know they're waiting to do their song. So let me just check in with them real quick to make sure we're not holding them up, because I didn't expect so many questions, but I want to get to everybody. So let's see how they're doing. Are you guys on a time crunch?
No, we're just talking.
Okay, because if you are, I could have you do another song, and then I could be like, hey, Kelly and I will stay and take care of the rest of the folks that have questions. If you want to do that, just so you're not waiting.
Whatever is clever, we can. Mark only lives a block away, so it's not like he has to drive far. So whatever you want. We'll be here either way.
We're close to. We have just a few more, so and then
sure we'll be here.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to check in. I didn't want to take your time and have you sitting.
No problem.
I love you, Mark. You're the best.
I love you too. Thank you.
Well, I love you both, but I feel like Mark needed that little energetic hug right now.
Thanks. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. I feel he's sad. I'm sorry, Mark.
Thanks. You must see it. Yeah. It's not because of you.
Well, I would think I would make you smile rather than because I give you funnel cake. I give you funnel cake holes. All right. I'll be back. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Courtney.
I was also going to say, Jacob and Mark, your music is really beautiful.
Oh, well, when we do the last song, I'm going to have you listen to it with me, Kelly, online. Let's see. Okay. Lori. Yes. I love Lori's question.
Me too.
Hi, Kelly. I have no idea. Do you like how I'm saying hi to Lori? Hi, Kelly. I have no idea what my purpose is. And now I'm retired from the Air Force. Love DIY, riding my motorcycles. That's cool. All these little cool hobbies. The issue is my energy and pain level prevents me from things I love. Great question. Kelly, I think that this is such up your alley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say my first thing when people are like, what is my purpose? I like to believe that your genius is your purpose. Your genius is what you're good at. It's what you're innately good at. It's what you love doing. It's where you find flow. I feel like we come to planet Earth in this lifetime to do that. And your genius can take many shapes and forms. But I believe your genius is your purpose, because that's what gives your soul the most fulfillment. I'd say when you're like, oh, what is my purpose, or what do I enjoy? I would say look at one of my favorite questions I love to give as a guiding question to help you find your gifts is to think about, how do your idols reflect your genius? It's one of the first chapters inside of PS Your Genius, because I think it's actually the heaviest hitter question. So I want you to write down the 5 people you admire most, and then write down 3 reasons why you love every single one of them. And then if you look at those 15 traits, there's a very high chance that you just wrote down all of your best gifts, because what we like in others is what we like about ourselves. And I also believe what we judge in others is what we judge about ourselves, and the advice you give is the advice you need, and all that kind of good stuff. But it's a great mirroring exercise to think about, who are those top 5 people I admire and why? And then how could that be a direct reflection of my own gifts and what I'm really good at? And a second follow-up question for those in the space of, how do I turn this into a business, a career, a side hustle, even a hobby, is how are those people taking those gifts and making a living out of it? So for example, one of my favorite authors is Jen Sincero, who are a badass. So if I think, oh, I love her because I think she's funny, I think she tells it like it is, she's super clear, she's really in her worth, she's kind of figured her life out after a lot of things went wrong. Those are things that I would say that I'm good at too. But when I think about what she sells, I'm like, okay, she has courses, she used to do coaching, she has a book, she's got many books, does public speaking. And I was like, those are all ideas that I've turned into paid things that I offer as well. So that's just an exercise I'd give to everybody to think about, what am I kind of good at? But I'd look at, I know your sort of the main question here is around the issue, is my energy and pain level prevents me from doing the things I love? I would say focus on what can you do, even if it's for maybe 5 minutes a day that you feel really good. What could you do to cultivate joy in that 5 minutes that would bring you happiness, bring you joy? If you have a gift around, connecting or sharing, maybe that looks like you, for 5 minutes, sending some voice memos of love to friends. You know, it's thinking about what can you do in the time you have versus that mindset of what I can't do, or, you know, it being hard, but focus on what could you do? Like, what is open for you? And what could you do in that limited time or with that limited energy that would still feel really supportive for you? Let me know if that resonates, Lori. And think about as well what it is that you love about DIY and, you know, riding your motorcycles. Like, what gifts are really in there, as well as one of the concepts I teach in my book is called this red thread of everything you do along your journey kind of contributes to where you're going. And you've picked up all of these little gifts and talents along your path to take you to this exact point in your destiny where you're really designed to do your genius. And every little job and internship and volunteer experience and work, and even like personal stuff or personal trauma or life lessons, all of those experiences kind of get bundled up into you right now being like, oh, I can really create something unique and show up in a unique way based on all of my past experiences. And there's sort of like this red thread that is sewn almost this garment of your life through all these patchworks of fabric to be like, hey, you have these gifts and you've got this unique background and you're like the perfect person to do it. So think about what those gifts are for you. With, you know, you're probably super creative with the DIY. I would assume maybe there's a gift around like, you know, freedom or adventure around riding the motorcycle, being retired from the Air Force. Think about what gifts, you know, you have from that. Is that like, you know, discipline? Is it leadership? And really thinking about, well, what could my genius be if I love, you know, craftiness and adventure, but I'm also like disciplined. I mean, I'm making this up, but Lori, your thing, could be like, it's like, you know, knitting scarves for like Etsy, where you're like really, you know, like disciplined and you make these like beautiful things and, you know, you put it up online or you're selling it at a farmer's market. But thinking about those gifts and turning it into something. That's what I'm always doing with clients is, where are all those gifts and how can we wrap it up into one to make something that feels fulfilling for you? Let me know if that's supportive for you, Lori.
Yeah, and Lori, I'm having this vision of like you doing like a DIY video on like YouTube with like doing something, making something for people who ride motorcycles that are also that used to serve in the military, and having some sort of like memento that you're making and selling, like, and showing people how to do it on like YouTube. I don't know. That's what came. So I always believe that. All right, we are like getting, I mean, we have like, I think 2 more questions. But I want to get back to Jacob and Mark, and then we will get back to Stephanie and Joe. But I want to get back to Jacob and Mark because we're usually right at around an hour, 1:15. So we will be back. Stephanie, I didn't forget about you. We'll be right back and we'll bring up Jacob and Mark. So Kelly, take a breather, drink some water. And if you don't mind staying for Stephanie and Joe's question, and then we got to end for the night. But like, you guys have been great and this has been awesome. So I'll be right back. Oh no, I'm going to keep you on, Kelly. All right, guys. So what you going to do? Well, first of all,
what you going to do when they come for you?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, let's just talk real quick about your stuff that's going on. First of all, we have like it's like a menu. We did
find something out, and I'm not sure I don't know if this stands, but apparently, because there are like restrictions on certain things for the festival, I don't know if they're selling individual days, but I do know that they do give the option to be able to come for the 2 days and not stay over.
For a discounted price,
rate.
You know, it's
great.
It's like 1/3 of the total. Like if you stay over.
Like the cheapest ticket would be $300, and that's for tents. So I think for the day, and you get like a meal or something if you want. I think it would probably be something around like $100 or something instead of $300.
Wow, that's so worth it. Oh my God, that's so great.
That might be for 2 days, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so if any of you are interested in just coming for a day, just send us an email, you know, jacobcolepercussion@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with a real answer.
Okay, thanks. So is world percussionist Jacob Cole and violinist Mark Woodyatt. You could follow Jacob on Instagram, Jacob Cole Percussion. Follow Mark on Instagram, Violinist Extraordinaire. And you can get their album, which I recommend you get the last 10. One of them, it's a collectible, Jacob Cole Percussion. And you can support them. And by supporting them, You're supporting the show. You're supporting local musicians. You're supporting art. Please support. Or you could just say, I'm going to support even further and go on their handpan retreat and learn
And come
yourself.
and try one of these beautiful instruments yourself.
Yeah, normally you
Yep.
would never have the opportunity to do it without having, whatever it costs.
Yeah, because these are pretty
$35,000.
expensive, so you got to be obsessed with them like me to really to buy them.
And that's where, if you come this weekend, you'll get to actually.
Yeah,
we're
gonna have a bunch of them
Play in the
to
little
use
ensemble.
and try out. I'm even gonna bring a couple of mine to sell. So
Oh, well, I'm in. Save one. Yeah, so handpanretreat.com. I mean, it's very easy. You can't forget it. It's not like you have to copy and paste. Remember it. If you're in the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area, you can come on down, be the next contestant for handpansrightforyou.com. I don't know if it is or not. But you guys, I haven't ever heard a handpan in person. I've only heard it over Zoom.
I was just about to say
that's the
that.
difference.
Oh.
This
They
is
have to hear it in person.
there's a level of magic that you guys are actually missing. Believe it or not. Once it's in your lap and once you're hearing it in person, it's like a whole nother experience.
Mm-hmm.
My piano tuner was up here the other day. I was telling Mark, and he tuned my piano beautifully. And then I brought him up here. I was like, "You got to check out my
JB.
yeah."
I know
check out-
JB. I met
You
him
did?
Yeah, I do.
JB.
Joey. Yeah. JB Akins.
Oh, his middle name is B.
No, that's his stage name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
an
I think he is.
amazing musician and great piano tuner. And I
Joey
brought him up
Badass
here,
Akins.
and he never heard of handpan in person. And I played for him, and he started crying. I was like taken.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I was like, I guess it really like moved him hearing it in person. And I don't know. It's interesting. I'm so used to them. I've been playing them since 2014, but they're pretty magical instruments. They were invented in 2000 in Switzerland by a male and a female pan maker who used to make steel pans.
Which are the other instrument that, like, if you're out there and you have heard those in person, it's like something you won't forget. I remember like hearing that in the mall, and I'm like, I could tell there was like a bunch of people playing it, and that's like an instrument that I just watched a little documentary on. The guy that was advocating it said, the steel pan's the only instrument that, you might not hear it on the radio. He's like, but it's a whole different movement. People will just have they love to hear it, they love to play it. If once you hear it, it's addicting.
Yeah, so this is an evolution of the steel pan, basically.
It's like inward. So
Right,
it's
because
more-
steel pans go inward, exactly, and these come outward, and they have a bottom shell attached with some type of notes on the bottom, and the sound comes out the bottom, where on a steel pan, it's just, there's no shell on the bottom, and they're tuned differently, and handpans are more, I think, more relaxing and soothing and healing, personally, while steel pans are a little bit more percussive, because you use mallets to play them.
Yeah, this has got a healing aspect to it.
Yeah, we used to play in a local hospital, actually. That's how Hope got started, by playing in the hallways of CMC in Scranton here.
That's great.
We
Wow.
called it a breezeway.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
great.
you know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to host the lounge on location somewhere, and have people get food and do the thing, and we'll have you guys come and do like a live lounge at a lounge area somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll just broadcast live. I've done it before. I
Yeah.
can do it
Maybe
again.
10, 11, 11.
Yeah.
or
We'll
12.
we'll poach Kelly from wherever she is and bring her down. Awesome. Well, what are you guys gonna play?
This is actually the one that I usually end on my insight timer. When I do insight timer, this is the last song I close, and I call it the Zen Lounge theme song, because that's what I call on insight timer. It's the Handpan Zen Lounge. So this is the Zen Lounge theme song, but I have another name for it, which is just called Nothing But Love.
All right, let's do it.
I like that.
I'll mute
right.
myself.
All right, hope you enjoy.
Wow. 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 One of my new favorites. What's the name of
Yeah,
that
I
song
like that. I
again?
like that one. It's a nice melody.
What's the name of that?
Well, it's called the Zen Lounge theme song, but if it was on an album, I would call it Nothing But Love.
Oh my god. I love it
Because
has the lounge in it.
I really am just sending out love when I play that song. It's a lot of
love
my
it.
tunes are dark, so it's this is actually one of my only major scale pans I own, so I kind of didn't have a choice, but I like it. So it's a nice happy song. But
Yeah.
there's the dark side too when I'm under the pan, so it's a little bit of both.
I don't know. That was amazing. Thank you so
That
much.
was
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of like Koopa's Kingdom. And when my mom heard that song, like I think we were playing that song. I just remember she left, like she actually passed on when I was in her presence, and that song was I think playing. And, like it was either that or Koopa's Kingdom, but they were like back to back, and they were both very very positive, uplifting songs. So like I was so grateful to be able to have that gift, and I just would like I thought it would be nice to share that with you guys because
Yeah.
we really don't, not because it's about me so much as I feel like my life has given me some rich experiences. That particular one though is relevant because we just played it, but also because people don't usually think about creating an environment for someone who's not well and incorporating music that can have potentially transformative effects on their suffering or whatever they're going through, right? So, but I feel like that's something that's coming back, and
Well, the intention that I have when I play it is just sending love out to anybody that can,
and it's going out to the universe, and
Okay.
we know that we already know on a scalar level and whatnot. This music does have an effect. It's been measured. They've scientifically proven that it had a measurable effect on both the visitors that were within earshot of us playing at the hospital. This is according to one of the doctors who said they did a survey for 2 years. But the music also had an effect on the patients. So that means that it affected the people before they went in to see the patients. But we know that it also probably, no doubt about it, in some level this music is helping to heal.
Well, and that
because
was
it's
our
not
int- that was our
programmed. It's not
intention.
programmed by this
It's all about the intention, just
the
like a chef.
evil,
you know?
forces that sometimes people conjure up to become very good songwriters. Like, I'll make a deal with you if you give me this, and then it's like this weird programming thing that you hear a lot in pop music. It's kind of something I'm fascinated with. But this doesn't follow those algorithms. It's coming from a place of inspiration.
Right,
And I know because I got to see Jacob bring these tunes in out of the blue. Oh, I just came up with this like yesterday or like a week ago.
It's all about the intention.
And it was all worked
Yeah.
out. Like his God connected the higher self, Jacob, that is the whole universe, brought that in.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff I don't even feel like I've written, to be honest with you. It's just like
Yeah.
it's already been written and I kind of just figured it out. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's
It's
kind of how I feel.
channeled. It's a channeled. You're in a
Yeah,
channeled
sometimes the
place.
songs will take me a year. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I don't write them in one day. That's for sure. It's like I'll come up with an idea or a part, and then another day, just from fooling around and improvising, I'll come up with another section, and then eventually a tune will become complete maybe after a year. So it's not always a quick process. Sometimes it is a quick process, but a lot of times it takes a lot longer to really feel like this is
This is the way we,
the
we
way
feel
it's
like
meant to be.
And
Yeah, no,
You're
thank
such
you
a good
guys.
person.
Thank
That really
you.
helps because
Yeah,
his heart and his mind. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have the heart, then you don't have access to your highest faculties.
that's right.
You know,
That's
Thanks,
right.
buddy. Well, you only add to it, so thank you.
Thank you guys.
it's
Thanks for
Well,
having us.
It's an honor.
absolutely. We have to just I know if you guys have
Thanks,
to go,
guys.
Kelly, I hope we didn't hold you up. I know we're usually not on this long. It's just kind of like this would happen tonight. So I hope you guys are okay with time. Kelly, if you're not, we can let you go too. We left like 1.5 questions, and we said that we come back. So I'll leave you guys up here. If you want to stay up on the screen, you can stay, Jacob and Mark, and we'll, or if you want to go, I could take you off. What's up to you?
So it doesn't matter.
All right, we'll leave you there.
We're listening.
That's good. Okay. So we get to Stephanie. Stephanie, I hope you're still here. You have a question, comment. I'm a written and visual storyteller. In the past few months, I have pushed myself to learn Adobe software, After Effects, Premiere Pro. I hate the process. I burn with desire because I don't want to stymie myself as an artist, and I want to learn something new. While I'm not expecting anything to come easy, should I get some joy out of this? In fact, what am I supposed to do? Well, I know, Stephanie, you're one of my manifesting students, and she's so talented, super talented, and has so much, going for her. I think personally, if it's not bringing you joy, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I think, honestly, out of everybody I talked to tonight, I think you and Kelly, I mean, Kelly would be the perfect mentor for you, Stephanie, on this next step of your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to support you, Stephanie, if you feel called. I would echo 100% Marissa's sentiment around if you don't love it, you literally say, I hate the process, like laugh, cry emoji. I'd say drop it. I feel like you probably are so excellent at so many other things that bring you more joy. And I feel like if you love it, the outcome will be better too. You know what I mean? It's sort of like if you're cooking in your kitchen and you're having a great time making the recipe and the music's great and the company's great, the dish tastes better. But if you're like, oh, having a terrible day and you're angry and you're upset and you hate the recipe, the dish is just not, the dish is not going to turn out well. So I'd say if you hate the process, switch to something else. Just look at it as a learning experience, as a tool you picked up, something, you did say, I pushed myself to learn something new. And that's amazing. I'd say pat yourself on the back for that. And I just say, feel free to use those as maybe down the road you'll need those After Effects or Premiere Pro for something, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I picked up that tool. But I would say stick to what really brings you joy.
Yeah, and you can go on Kelly's website. She has a quiz there and everything, and you can kind of connect with her. She's got a bunch of awesome starter resources, and her book is something maybe you should start with too. But I think you guys need to connect on a deeper level. That's just my feeling. All right, and I think Joe has our last question. I don't know if we can really answer this, Joe, without getting to know you a little bit more. I see there is a point. You're here for a reason, and I think I got to do the Define Your Dream challenge again this fall. It takes you through a process of helping you to tune into those glimmers. But there is something for you, Joe. But I think we need a little more time to go in depth to figure it out. And he does have a question. Do you ever recommend reading the book of Ecclesiastes? Do you, Kelly?
I believe that is a religious text.
Yeah.
Is that in the Bible?
The Bible.
I don't know. I would not describe myself as a religious. I once upon a time went to Catholic church when I was young, but left that after grade 7. So I don't think I'm the right person to speak on religious texts. I would say I'm spiritual,
Yeah.
but I'd say if it calls and speaks to you, then, take the intuitive nudge and read it,
Yeah, whatever. I mean, everything comes from energy and God, so if you feel drawn, definitely, but I'm not an expert on that. So yeah. Sorry, I can't answer that question, but yeah. So Stephanie has, it's not the act of editing I hate, it's a software. Adobe is becoming more of a standard in the industry. Okay. I'm using it. Thank God. Okay. Cool. Well, I'd say the next step, go to Kelly's website. And I think there's some things you're going to find there. That's just my feeling. Yes. Thank you guys. Okay. Has to do with purpose. Yeah. If you're drawn to whatever you're drawn to right now, Joe, it's like using that intuition, being like, no matter how weird it is, no
Yep.
matter how strange, no matter how, and I always, if I'm really stuck, I always go to the universe or God and whatever you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, I'm really stuck. Please point me in the direction of a person, a book, something where I need that light, that next step, that lantern on the next step of my journey. And if if people aren't doing for you, you're going on your own will, God will. So step into it and you will find the next step. You might not find the end result, but you're going to find the next step on that journey. But you do have a purpose, Joe. That's why you're here.
For sure.
All right. Well, I don't think in the history, this is the Guinness Book of World Records when it comes to this show. I don't think we've ever gone this long. Thank you all for being here. I'm just going to extroduce everybody. Jacob and Mark and Kelly and me. Hi. I'm just going to go over everybody's stuff once again to close out the show. Thank you all for coming. We have world percussionist Jacob Cole and violinist Mark Woodyatt. Jacob Cole Percussion on IG. Mark's on IG. Follow them. If you follow me, I follow them. You can purchase their album at jacobcolepercussion.com. And remember, handpanretreat.com if you want to get in on and learn a musical instrument. Best way to go. So, Kelly, we can listen to your podcast if we want. Go on the Kelly Track Show. You are the coach and author of P.S. You're a Genius. Get the book. Get the book. Amazon website. Yes, she's a published author. Order her books. kellytrack.com books. Follow her on IG, Kelly Track. So just watch this again. All the links are in the description. Check it out. If you want to know what your intuitive superpower is, that's the best way to start with me. And you know what? Everybody thinks it's about learning intuitive skills to read others, but really it's about finding your own intuition so that you know what decisions to make for you and have absolute clarity, and you're not scattered all the time and you're thinking, and you have absolutely no doubt where the universe is leading you. So it's about coming back to you and your own abilities. And yes, you could read others, but it's about reading where you're supposed to be too and calibrating that compass. All right. It's been a long road. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Jacob and Mark. Thank you, Kelly. And if we were all in the same room, we'd have a big buffet right now and a lot to drink and eat because that was a lot to do. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week. And I believe we have Sujay coming back. He's from like 2 years ago doing some Vedic astrology for every sign. So come back and listen. All right. We'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.